this is Matt. We're the adoptive parents.
I'm Tori, this is Spencer. I'm the birth mother. This is my husband, not the birth father.
Yes, so he came in the picture later, but we were asked to answer some questions and kind of do like a panel of sorts to give you guys an idea of what it's like to be an adoptive parent and then what it's like to be a birth parent. Talk about adoption. All the cute birth mamas over there sent these questions to us. So, you ready for the first one? This one's for you.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'll be the narrator.
Oh, he's the narrator. Okay, go.
Tori, how far along were you when you found out you were expecting?
I found out I was expecting... When do you usually have your first ultrasound?
At about like the gender one?
Well,
20 weeks for gender, like 13, 14, maybe?
13 or 14 weeks?
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's when I found
That's when
out.
you found out?
Well, that's when because I knew I was pregnant because I took the test, but that's when I went in. So I didn't know, I didn't know exactly, like right when I was pregnant, I didn't know that.
The day that you took the pregnancy test and found out you were pregnant, what were the emotions like?
It was extremely scary. It was totally surreal. I wasn't ready for it, like, at all. It was really, really scary. That's probably the main emotion that was going through me. I was really scared, not ready at all.
When did you tell your family?
Oh my goodness. Oh jeez. Basically, the father of the baby was telling me not to tell anyone, and so I didn't tell anyone for a long time. And the first person I told was my brother, because I don't know, I just felt like I could go to him and tell him anything, and I was just really scared, and I just started bawling when I told him. I just felt safe telling him, and I told him not to tell anyone.
Get our socks off!
So apparently my mom knew the whole time, because she just has those motherly instincts.
So here's two for you, Spencer. You ready?
Awesome.
How long did you and Tori date, and then how long have you been married? Oh, that's easy.
We dated.
Thank you.
We dated. What was it? 6 months. It was about our 6-month mark when we got married, and we have been married for almost 6 months now. So.
What attracted you to Tori?
Instagram pictures.
She does take a mad.
I know. I
pictures.
stalked this girl and her beautiful eyes on Instagram for a long time. I don't know. Once.
Take two. Okay. Okay. Yeah, probably. Since you're up, what attracted you to Tori?
So, like I said, stalked her on Instagram and Facebook for a while. We were friends. I don't know. Her eyes, everything, and then once we hung out, it was done.
You were pregnant, right?
I was pregnant, and so
First date with a pregnant girl.
I didn't want to really date anyone.
I don't know. The first date though, we could talk. You know, we talked for hours and hours. It was just so weird. We made homemade pizza, and then we just sat on the couch and talked for like 4.5 hours. So it was just really easy to talk to her and be myself around her. So I think that was probably the thing that attracted me most to her.
So this one's for us. It says, tell us briefly how you guys met and tell us what you love about one another. You can go first. Go ahead, make it good.
So we met our freshman year of college. We were both going to Utah State, and we had I was actually friends with her roommate before I met her, and we had a snowboarding class together, and I'll never forget, we carpooled up to the resort. She drove up to the ski resort every week, and I'll never forget, my parents were paying for my school. I didn't have a job.
Mine weren't.
I was just, I was well taken care of, we could say. And she came to my room, my apartment, dorm, whatever it was, and was like, you owe me for gas money.
Oh my gosh.
I was so horrible, and I'm like, he owes me gas money. He's not getting away with that.
It had never even crossed my mind,
Anyway,
but
so we
I was cool with it.
we got married 5 years after that. Okay. Oh, and then what do you love about me?
What is it about me first?
Okay. I love that you make it fun. You make life fun. You get me to do fun things. You're the spice of my life.
Event coordinator.
That too.
I love how well you take care of me and the kids. You're a good mom to all of us.
And then Tori, we're back to you. Did abortion ever cross your mind, or did anyone or anything pressure you into that option?
No.
Okay.
That sums it up. No, it never crossed my mind. I would never want to do that.
How did you hear or know about the option of adoption?
I've heard about it. Like, I knew about it long before I got pregnant, and so I always knew that it was an option. And I think that I've always thought that if I ever did get pregnant and wasn't ready, that I would do adoption. And so having that decision early on made it a lot easier.
The next one said, did any person or people or situations help and support you through a definite decision of adoption?
My parents really thought that it was a good idea. They didn't think that I was in the right position to keep the baby, even though they would absolutely adore that child just as much. But they really supported me and were proud of me for wanting to choose that for the baby.
Skateboard bros! Skateboard bros! Skateboard bros! Okay, what is up, YouTubers? So many dumb ways to die. So many. Now let me have a turn, yos. Oh, watch me a trick. Get off, yo, and you hold that, yo. Yo, hold it, yo! I'm the cameraman. So dangerous. It's a pretty nice day in the basement. And it also was outside. Okay, what just happened? What just happened, YouTubers? That is just scary. Oh my. Let me do it, May Valerie. Guys!
Okay, Spencer, the next one for you is, how did you feel about Tori's decision of adoption? It says while you were dating her, but you guys weren't super involved then, right? So I guess just answer
Did I
that.
tell you?
I wasn't, no.
Yeah.
I've always respected her decision. I think that after everything, I mean, after being such a big part of, you know, this whole family now, I've definitely seen that it's the best thing that could have happened. I wasn't
our
really involved at the
situation.
time. I was living in California when she actually had the baby, so I wasn't really here when that all went down. I just kind of came back for the aftermath.
Yeah, you guys didn't get
So-
serious until after you'd had her, right?
Right, it was
Right.
about 2 months after
We
she
went
had
on
the
our
baby.
first date after a long period of time. We went on our first date again. We had our first date, and then he moved, and things just kind of were crazy for me at that time. So he moved, and then he came back. We had our first date again, kind of type thing, and then we started getting more serious from there.
And the next one for us is, what were your thoughts of birth mothers before considering the option of adoption? Shall we dance?
That's an interesting one.
That is an interesting one, because I think big misconceptions, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I felt like I remember just praying and praying and praying, please, let it be someone that we can have be a part of our family. And I was just worried that it was going to be not that way. I don't know, like when there's no face to that person, it just is kind of
It's kind of scary.
It is kind kind of scary.
The unknown is always.
Yeah, it is kind of scary, and you just don't know, like, you know, are things going to change? Is she going to want the baby back someday, or is, you know, what that relationship is going to look like, or is she going to be the type of person that is going to be, you know, someone we can have around our kids, and so you just don't know. But obviously, none of our fears came to fruition. I don't know. What did you think?
I was just thinking about, before I had considered adoption at all, it's always like that stereotypical like teen mom type thing, like some young girl that gets pregnant on accident and decides to place the baby. And I hadn't really thought about open adoption much. I hadn't thought about, like, you know, opening our family to them and their family, her and her family, I should say. So I think my conception of birth moms was very different from our reality, at least. And honestly, most of our friends that we know that have adopted, their birth moms are not what my preconceived misconception was either.
What did you know about adoption before considering it? I would just say, plain and simple, we have family that's been adopted, and so we just thought, you know, we thought that everyone's adoption looked similar, but they really don't. Our adoption can look totally different than someone else's adoption. And so even though this is what works for us, it could be very, very different for someone else in their adoption.
Mm-hmm. Before considering adoption, were you aware of how open an open adoption could be?
I would say no.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
I think
we weren't planning on it being as open as we have it.
No.
I mean, just because we'd never seen that before.
Exactly. I mean, we have friends that have semi-open adoptions, or, you know, they see them a couple times a year. Most of them don't live close is the problem, but
it's a big spectrum of openness.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, we've just done what has worked for us, and our adoption's super, super open because the birth families are all really easy to get along with, and we get along with them really well, and we love them like our family.
Yeah.
But I don't think it has to be that way.
Another one for Tori. Tell us about the adoption attorney or agency you used.
We went through LDS Family Services, which honestly was amazing. It was so cool going into there and having a wonderful counselor. She was incredible. She was so sweet. She was there for anything I needed. She helped me with any questions that I had. Well, she helped me with choosing the family that I chose. It was really difficult because I went on the website and there were just so many families like looking to adopt, and it was so difficult to, you know, just pick out a family and pick out of hundreds, thousands of families. It was crazy.
That was the next question. You're actually leading into it. The next question is, during your search for a family, what were some characteristics you wanted in a family?
Okay, so I just wanted someone that I could read about them, meet them, and kind of watch videos of them and be like, oh my gosh, like, this is them. I just kind of wanted that feeling to be there. So I read about a lot of different families. My counselor he kind of gave her some things that I was looking for, like religious views, things like that, and just kind of people. I wanted people that had a couple of kids, just so that the baby would have some siblings, things like that. So I gave my counselor some things, and she pulled up 3 or 4 names of people, and I just read about them. I watched their videos, and I chose the family that just really stood out to me. It's just kind of, it's a feeling where you know, like, that's the family, and I totally did. I was like, okay, this is them, and I had no questions, and I didn't feel like I had to keep looking or anything, because when I knew. So
yeah, what drew you to us?
Just your personalities, your outlook on life, and how you teach your children. Just everything. Like, upon watching your videos, reading about you guys, I automatically was in love, and then when I met you, it was like even more of like, oh my gosh, like, these people are amazing. I already feel like baby belongs with them and everything, so yeah.
Nicer. I might cry. Okay. One for Spencer. Was this the first time you had ever heard about adoption, open adoption? And if not, when had you heard about open adoption?
I mean, I've always heard of adoption. I've never really dealt with it.
Open adoption, I guess.
Right, I've never really dealt with adoption in my immediate family. It's nothing, yeah, it's nothing, I mean, it's not kind of a taboo or anything. It's just not really something I would have thought about before.
Okay. The next question it asks kind of has to do with that one. It says, do you have a different perspective of adoption now versus when you met Tori? And how has your perspective of adoption changed, if it has changed at all?
I think because I didn't really have any, opinion on adoption. I don't know, I guess I can't really say that it's changed. I guess I just have, my eyes have been opened up even more to show how, beneficial and amazing an open adoption can really be.
Looking back at your past, did you ever think that you would adopt someday?
I would say, I mean, when we were first married and talking about family planning and how many kids we wanted, it wasn't really in the discussion.
We hadn't talked about it that time. I mean, you don't really usually think about that, I guess. But as we started having miscarriages, we talked about it off and on, I think, for years. We talked about it. Do we, don't we, do we, don't we? And then after we lost our third son, after he was stillborn, it was like super, super strong. Like that is what we were supposed to do. When did you tell your immediate family about your decision to adopt, and were they supportive? I would say yeah. I remember, because I always have really big ideas, really big dreams, big ideas. And I remember telling my dad the first time, and he's like, okay, sweetie, okay. I'm like, sure, yeah, you'll do that. But but now looking back, I mean, we knew it was the right thing, and so we, jumped on board, and it was the right thing. It happened super quickly, and all of them are just in love with her, and they're all really involved with her birth family as well. We all get together and have big family things. Did she fall asleep for you? We all get together and have big family events with, our parents and families, and Tori's family, and even Spencer's family, who's been there too for get-togethers. So yeah, we're just one big happy family. Tell us about the adoption attorney or agency you used. We used the same one that Tori did, and that's how we were matched. Is the counselor suggested us, suggested us to Tori. So it was great. They were awesome. They were really, really great, and it happened really, really fast. Tell us how you met them in person for the first time, and how you told them you wanted them to be the forever mommy and daddy to them.
Okay, so the first time that we met, we decided to go out to dinner at a restaurant, just so I can get a better idea of who these people are, And so that was great. And then I wanted to meet him a second time before I chose. And we all got together here at their house, another dinner, I think it was. And I brought my family, right? I brought my whole family, my parents, my brothers, and her whole family was there. We were all sitting around the dinner table. And the whole night was just going awesome. I loved watching Matt and Amber with their 2 kids they already had. I loved watching them with them, and how great of parents they were, and just their lifestyle was like so awesome. And I just knew, I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell them that I wanted them to be the parents, and it was just awesome. They accepted.
That was an amazing day. I remember I was so nervous. Oh my gosh, I was so nervous when you came over that day. Weren't we so, it was great though. And it was like we were meant to be family from the get-go.
So I would just say, like, getting to know someone, like, going out multiple times with them and getting to know them really, really helps make your decision.
So I guess this is different because you aren't Lena's birth father, but if you had the chance to and he wanted your advice, what would you tell an abortion-determined father facing an unplanned pregnancy?
What would I
So
tell?
if one of your buddies got someone pregnant,
And he
And
was
he wanted-
for
Looking at
abortion.
What would you say with the experience that, from your perspective?
and came to
how-
you for advice,
Yeah.
what would you say to him?
Man, that would be an interesting one. It would be difficult just after seeing how amazing and how blessed we've been with this open adoption, even though I wasn't there for the whole beginning and I'm not the birth father. But just seeing the family that it's brought together and the blessings that have come from it. It's just, it would be easy to encourage going for an adoption over an abortion any day.
What were you looking for or expecting in an open adoption plan, including the relationship with the birth mother? I think we wanted openness. We didn't really have an idea of how open.
We didn't know what that was going to look like.
Yeah.
We just knew after going to
The panels.
some of the panels, that was really kind of like the eye-opening experience for me, knowing that being as open as we could possibly be was the best idea for
The baby.
the baby. And that was what was most important to us.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't know what it was going to look like. We didn't know how open it was going to be, but we knew we definitely weren't going to keep it a secret that they were adopted, or we wanted them to have a relationship with their birth mom. We just didn't know to what extent, and that just has evolved over time, based on circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's something that we've worked towards. I mean, we weren't always so comfortable. Like in the beginning, it was kind of like,
What do
who
we
belongs
do?
where and who's what and stuff. So it takes communication and stuff. But I think that you figured that